Hey, hello everybody. I'm Mario Montoya with ITS Academy, Olympus Beauty, Olympian Academy, Hairbanders Academy, and International Academy of Hair Design. Today, my model's name is Chelsea, and what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting her hair dry. The reason why I want to cut her hair dry is because I colored it today. We took a long time getting her to this beautiful color, and I really want to see what looks like it needs to be cut off, basically. So, what I'm going to do today is we're going to cut her hair dry, and I'm also going to go ahead and texturize it a little bit so that way it gives it a softer look. The best way to cut dry hair, I think, with this length of hair is for her to actually stand up first. So I'm going to have her stand up. And if you have the client put her hands on the chair, what that allows her to do is make sure that she's level on both sides. Make sure the client isn't shoulder 1 or shoulder 2, or she's using her foot to lean on. Make sure that she's standing straight up. That's the most important part. The other part is if you pull your cape around this way, this allows the hair to fall straight on the cape. If you have any gathering or anything, that will compromise your haircut. Now, the next thing I want to look at is her shoulder shape. If she's got square shoulders, if she's more square and broad into this area, I want to make sure I want to soften that. So a round cut would be good. But what I did is I have a consultation with Chelsea before, and Chelsea loves the straight look. So I want to make sure that I make that really strong look on the ends, just like her shoulders. And that's going to give her a really nice, clean look. The first thing you want to do when you're cutting this is you want to go ahead and go straight down the middle. Okay, that gives you that section there. And then you want to part off where it's called the ear to ear section. Okay, so that leaves you with 1, 2, 3, and 4 sections. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this off to the side. And the reason why I leave this off to the side is because when you're cutting hair in the school or wherever you learn to cut, sometimes they tell you it's not necessarily wrong or right, but this is just my way. What I like to do is I like to cut one side first. If I cut a little bit of this side, a little bit of that side, a little bit of this side, a little bit of that side, what happens is she says, I want it shorter. If she wants it shorter, then I have to go back and cut both sides again. So the best thing to do is, in her situation, if I'm in the salon, I'm busy, and I want to make money, and that's why we're here, is to make money, is I want to cut one side first. So I tilt her head, I make sure that she's nice and even, nice and level. If I want to, I could take multiple sections. 1 section, 2 sections. But again, we're here to save money, and I want to share a good learning tool with you guys. So I'm going to have her take that whole section down, and we're going to lightly tilt her head. Make sure that you keep her head at the same spot every time. You can use the wide end tooth of the comb first, and then tighten it with the tight end comb, the loose of the comb. Make sure that you follow your fingers with the comb, and make sure you go all the way down to your desired length. Now, you don't want to flip up your fingers. If you flip up your fingers or you hold it up, what that's going to do is going to create elevation, and you don't want that. You want the hair to be nice and clean and straight. So we're going to take this down, follow with my fingers. I push the comb up, keeps the tension. We're going to go about right there, put your comb away, and we're going to cut right there perfectly. A nice clean line. Check it, you look at it, make sure she's still level. She hasn't moved yet. If you'd like to, you can go back in and lightly point cut that. And I like to do that just to soften the ends a little bit. But again, she likes that square, clean look, and I don't want to take away from that. Okay, now that I'm done with this section, I'm going to tilt her head this way so I'm not working off of her front end. It's nicer to keep everything here, and you're not moving your body too much. Again, you tilt your head slightly this way. That gives it that nice clean undercut. If you like, you don't have to use your fingers. You can go ahead and just continue cutting and keep that straight line nice and even, and soften that edge up just a little bit. That gives you a nice clean cut. Now, I'm done with that whole left side. I don't have to worry about that. She's comfortable. It looks nice and clean. That's why I like to cut dry, because I can see what I need to do. Now, we bring back her head to a natural state. I take out this left side again, and this is going to be my guide to cut the other side. I take out my section right behind the ear. Now, another key point that's important, that a lot of people don't know, if you're always sectioning down the middle ear to ear because you're told to, that's not necessarily the reason why you should do it. I'm going to show you a little trick that I like to do. I like to push the hair down in its natural state here. And if I lightly push that hair up, that'll tell me where her hair naturally wants to part. So that there tells me that's where it needs to be parted. If you take the hair away from its natural hair growth, the haircut won't last as long and it doesn't look as pretty longer. So you always want to make sure that she loves her haircut. And she comes back, of course. That's the main reason you want her to come back. So let's take her back to where we began. And we're going to just cut this right side to match. Make sure your body position is always in front of your client. You bring your guide over just slightly. You see how I comb and I groom it? Comb and I groom it. I grab a little bit here from underneath. I bring it straight down. I see my guide there, and then I match it. Nice and clean. Now, once you let it go, you can go back in there and soften it. If you have any little pieces there, you saw that little piece. Just soften it just a little bit, and we're good there. The next step you're gonna do is, again, bring your head slightly tilted here. Bring it up, and we're gonna go ahead and finish that guide out to meet the rest of the hair. Right there is where we wanna do it. This one I'm gonna do without my finger, so it gets no graduation. And you can see right there where that dead ends are, and we wanna take it right off, right clean, so it softens up her hair. Now, if that doesn't look beautiful, I don't know what is. She's really strong on that straight, one length haircut that helps her shoulders and helps the haircut, brings out the color. The next step we're gonna do is we're gonna lightly layer it. She doesn't want a lot of layers because I don't wanna break that up too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have her sit down now. We wanna fix her cape. Make sure you have your logo always facing the mirror, so she's always looking at her logo, always looking at where she can go shopping for her hair products online, which is hauntpro.com. And we want to go to the natural state. And what I'm going to do again is it's dry hair. I don't have to fight with tangling. It's not wet. I don't have to sit there and comb it out. It's nice and clean. And I'm going to start a layer right here at her parietal ridge. Now, the parietal ridge, if you're not sure where the parietal ridge is, the parietal ridge is found, if you're flat here, you're flat here, wherever your hair teeter-totters at, that's the parietal ridge. That allows you to know that when everybody shakes their head and their hair moves, it only moves what's called, the bone is called the parietal ridge. So if you want movement in your client, you have to make sure that you cut that hair from the parietal ridge. So I'm gonna bring that hair right out the parietal ridge, and we're gonna take just that light corner off right there. We're just gonna soften it just a little bit. I like to slightly bend my finger so it helps it round, so it's really soft. I take my next section, bring it back. I like to lightly bend my fingers, take that corner and round it, and that gives it a nice soft look. Like a point cut in there. Okay, my next section, all I'm doing is what's called a traveling guide. And I'm taking it, making sure that I'm pulling it straight from that parietal ridge. I'm not over dragging it one way or the other, but I have to pull it right from the parietal ridge. I'm not pulling it down here, and I'm not pulling it above. I have to pull right from the parietal ridge. So we're here, we take that layer, slightly soften that layer. I don't want to make it a straight cut. I want to make it jaggedy a little bit so it's a little more edgier. Again, another section here. I just follow that parietal ridge. Make sure when you're doing this that you never go below the occipital either. You're keeping the hair occipital bone free. Pull the hair up, slightly bend it, we round it, and we soften it. Next section, we're going to pull it right from the parietal ridge. That hair naturally drops out. That way we keep the strength on the ends. Pull it up, slightly bend it, and we're there. One more section, pull it up. Now, always when you get to the front section where the ear's at, there's less hair. You're dealing with a lot of hair here. On the side, you're dealing with less hair. So you must slightly pull this hair back when you're cutting the side sections. I didn't explain that on the other side, but it's important. Anytime you're on the side section from the ear forward, slightly bring that hair back. Very important point. And we're just taking off what she needs, just that little bit of dead ends there. She was really nervous before the haircut today because we didn't explain it to her first, but it's important to tell your client what you're going to do. but she's been such a good model today, and her hair looks so pretty, she should be happy. The last thing you want to do is once you're around the parietal ridge, you want to continue that circle. So what we have left is the top sections. We did the parietal ridge, we pull it out, and all we have to do is connect the circle. So I have 2 sections here. You have your front section, your back section. This is called the apex. The highest point where the comb is at, that's the apex. Anything this section back is the back section, that's the front section. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this real light, a light circle. Doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. We're just doing something fun and live on Facebook today. Something off you're not used to learning. So we're going to pull this up, bring it up. We slightly squeeze it, and you can see your circle right there underneath. You make it look like a little fan blade, nice and clean. You're done with that. So what that does is it connects this side to that side. One more section. Just like you did on the side sections, anything from the ear forward, you must slightly bring that back. So in the front here, I'm going to bring all this hair slightly up and back, squeeze it slightly, and then make that circle. That cleans that up real nice and clean and perfect. So now our layers are just real soft on her ends. You can't see much of a layer there, but it's a real light layer because we want to keep the strength again. The last thing I want to do on this haircut properly, on this cutting portion, is I want to cut her bang. So her bang has a little slight damage to it because we did do a lot of bleaching. So you want to take out what you don't want to cut out. And I'll probably do another live video on this on how to cut your bangs properly, but that'll be next. So you guys will be excited about the next live video. So we bring the hair slightly to the opposite side, and you always want to point cut it slightly, point cut. Now, if her bang was thick and she wanted to kind of swoop over, it's very important that you bring that hair this vertically and you lightly back comb that hair and you just give it a little bit of tease and cut at the same time. And that what that does is it helps the direction of the hair, and that's what gives her that real pretty swoop. And that's the most beautiful swoop I've seen. It has to be. Don't you think, Chelsea? All right. So once you're done with the swoop, if you have time to, and let me just show you real quick, we're going to texturize her hair just slightly with the texturizing shear. Never be afraid of the texturizing shear. You don't ever want to bring the texturizing shear and do it horizontal, because what horizontal does is it builds weight. So I want to feel her hair and feel where it needs it. She doesn't really need it here. She needs a little here. I'm going to bring this hair vertically out, and I'm just going to lightly tap it. Always make sure that the scissor is parallel to the hair, never horizontal. So I go parallel, 2 inches out, never close to the scalp. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, and you leave it there. And then the next thing that we're going to do is you're going to take this section here, and you're going to pull it out, and you're going to go vertical section straight out, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3. Next section, pull it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm doing 5 sections because her hair's a little thicker back here. Bring it straight out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice how I have it in levels. I take that level down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Never hit this top section. If you hit the top section, you're going to make a sliver there, and she's going to have that small hair there. She doesn't want to see that. 1, 2, 3. Do a few more. Come here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Never hit the top. Always good odd numbers if you like. Whatever your preference is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did it 4 times that time. Okay, so as I get to the front, we don't want too much more in the front because her hair starts to get a little finer in the front. We grab what's called our paddle brush. The paddle brush is fun because the paddle brush will take out all the hair that we took out. And you can see this. As you can see, that's quite a bit of hair. But she's got a lot of hair to give, and it's going to be really nice and soft for her to blow dry it, and a lot easier. She gets headaches, she said, because her hair is so heavy. This here will help her alleviate some of those headaches. That's a lot of weight, and it helps take out all that weight and all that headache that she's getting. A lot lighter, her hair is flowing, it looks pretty, and she's set, ready to go. Now, again, the products that I use today in her hair, we use the the Enliven shampoo. This is Color Safe shampoo. We use the High Degree Damage Repair conditioner because her hair is blonde. She uses the HP Naturals coconut oil at night. She uses just a little bit before she goes to bed on her ends. This she uses daily after she gets out of the shower. That's our leave-in conditioner. And light touch, I put this in before and after I blow dry. This is my favorite product, and you always need water. Business on H.
How do you feel?
Good.
Good job,
Hey.
Mario.
Thank you. How'd I do?